All right, welcome back to BCSN SportsWrap. Bryan, A.D, Drew, and look who's joining us. Friend of the program, a Rattler at heart, none other than a Hall of Famer, by the way, Liv Antilla. LivForHoops. Liv, what's good? Welcome back to the show. How you doing tonight?
I'm well. How are you?
Hey, you doing well. Doing well, Liv. Doing well. Liv, are you ready? It's basketball season. Are you excited?
I've been waiting for football season to be over so basketball could be here. And everyone's been telling me to chill out. But I'm really excited, to be honest, with a lot of the rosters on paper. So, like, a lot of things are obviously up to how coaches execute, how players execute. But on paper, a lot of teams are looking so strong this season. And so I've been ready for the basketball season to start.
And there are a lot of other people out here who are football fans who've been ready for basketball season start since about the second week of October.
Hey, people could say FAMU is one of them. So
I see you said that, not me.
Okay, so let's kind of go through some of the off-season stuff for anybody who's kind of been in a cave or in a football slumber and you really haven't been paying attention to basketball. What has been maybe the one or two, or I don't know, few interesting storylines from the off season regarding our HBCUs and the various women or men's basketball programs that you've been able to grab a hold of?
Yeah, I think the SWAC men have the most storylines out of all of the Division I conference, like the two Division I conferences and teams, simply because there was so much interconference transition and things that went on behind the scenes that are causing for great storylines. So, of course, we have Coach Crary departed FAMU, took the Grambling job, and the Grambling job opened up because Dante Jackson left Grambling to go to Alabama A&M. The previous coach at Alabama A&M is on staff as an assistant at Texas Southern. Like, there's just so many different movement pieces. And also there's always the parts of alumni already being like, our coach is on the hot seat for this season.
We haven't even tipped the ball up. You talk about hot seat.
He will be ready. And then, of course, we have Charlie Ward, who is a Hall of Famer, a decorated athlete who went to FAMU. But no, people are already ready. If you're not winning, you're not producing at the level you once were, people are ready to move on because especially in the SWAC, obviously the MEAC is all veteran coaches when it comes to the men's side. But in the SWAC, when they see other institutions hiring new coaches and getting better results instantly, and to some people, they're like, oh, they didn't make that big of a jump. Going from 10th to 7th is a big jump. Going from never to all of a sudden having, like, to starting is a big jump. And so people want that gratification by veteran coaches. And then in the MEAC, we obviously have no movement on the men's side. But for the women, we have the departure of Larry Vickers, who went to Auburn, which is always congrats to him. I hope he has much success. And then we had the hometown boy, Jermaine Woods, take the Norfolk State job. The Morgan State coach retired after many, many years. Nadine Domond, who is not any stranger to HBCU basketball. She was formerly at Virginia State and previously before that at Grambling, took the Morgan State job. And then Daryl Mosley, who was an assistant at Arizona State, which Arizona State lost to multiple HBCUs while he was an assistant there. Not any shade, just setting the scene. He took the job at Coppin. So we had quite a few movement at the Division I level. So it causes for, storylines. And we also have last year how Jackson State only lost by 1 point in the championship game. How are they going to, for men, how are they going to rebound off of that season? For women in Southern, are they going to repeat? They were the first SWAC women's team ever to win an NCAA tournament game. Are they going to be able to put together a season to redo that history? Like, who is going to be the new reigning throne of SWAC women's basketball? Is it going to be the Funches era, or are we going to see someone swoop in and take that top spot and start running the entire conference?
Isn't it amazing? Just a few years ago, we were talking about how the school in Mississippi was the queens of the basketball court, and now it seems like, I don't want to say everybody has a chance, but there's more teams that have a chance than than previously.
Yeah.
Right. So find that interesting. How about the division? How about the Division II or maybe even the NAIA? Any interesting storylines in the offseason that caught your eye?
Yeah, so I think with the CIAA, the biggest one was that there was only 2 coaching swaps and they switched schools. So we had Coach Honan from Bluefield State went to Fayetteville State, and then the Fayetteville State coach went to Bluefield State after just winning CIAA Coach of the Year. So everyone was kind of like, when I released that news, everyone was so confused. They were like, wait, he just won Coach of the Year. How does that happen? So I think that's a good storyline, but nonetheless, I think the best thing with Division II basketball right now is that there are multiple teams receiving votes in the national poll, which is what we want to see. So we have Virginia State, who's already preseason ranked number 21 in the nation. And then we have Miles, Fayetteville State. Who's the other ones? There was 2 other teams. My mind's going blank. I can't remember everything. But there's multiple teams that are preseason ranked. And for the women, the same story goes there. For NAIA, obviously we have, it was Virginia State, Miles, Lincoln of Missouri, Clark Atlanta, and Fayetteville State all receiving votes in the national poll, which is huge. If anyone recalls from last year in the CIAA, they had 3 teams who got birth to the NCAA tournament, which is huge. That's what we want to see. We want to see multiple bids coming from our league. And then with the SIAC, it's going to be a brand new conference this year. So many teams completely reloaded, have 12 plus new players on their team. Yes, Miles is receiving votes, but I'm pretty positive they have 15 new players on their team. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that conference shakes out because, again, so many teams, whether it was due to graduation or that additional rule where players could only go Division I for the extra year, they lost players. Everyone lost players. And then for women, Fayetteville State is going for the 3-peat, which in my opinion, I think they're going to get. They reloaded with so much good talent, and Coach Brown is a phenomenal coach. But it's anyone's game. The CIAA is always kind of crazy, and it's not an easy roadmap to get to the championship game. And I saw that. How did Miles receive 15 votes with 15 new players? Because their coaching staff is that good and that well respected. Last year, they were ranked in the top 5 the entire season. The fact that they didn't get picked to go to the NCAA tournament was honestly, I was flabbergasted, but that's how the coaching panel respects their coaching staff so much that they received votes. Now, it wasn't that many. They only received 27, but nonetheless, they're respected. They're very well respected amongst the Division II basketball scene. But with NAIA, obviously, everyone knows about Langston. And if you don't, I feel like you're just living under a rock at this point, or you don't care about basketball, which is always fine. Both teams are nationally ranked to start the season, which is phenomenal. Langston men were ranked number 4, and Langston women were ranked number 11. Langston men are 2-1 on the season. They did already drop a game, but it was to a team receiving votes. And then the next game, they beat the number 10 team. So we'll always see competitive game with them. And the women are 2-0. They just came off of an exhibition game versus LSU. So we're not really paying attention to that too much. And then the HBCU AC should always be competitive. I'm interested to see how it looks across both sides because there are quite a few new coaches, a lot of new players, and a lot of departures. Because again, that extra year rule where players could only go Division I gave players opportunities to leave and pursue that goal of playing Division I basketball for that final year. But there's NAIA basketball already started 2 weeks ago. So it's been all right.
I didn't hear Florida Memorial, Liv.
Yeah, so Florida Memorial, they weren't ranked for either. Their women's team was receiving votes. Florida Memorial did get a new coach in the offseason because their previous coach left to be an assistant at High Point, which is a very well-respected mid-major program, constantly ranked in the top 25. He left. The assistant took the head coaching job. I believe both the men and women won their opening season games, which were just this week. So they're both 1-0. I do think Florida Memorial will crack the top 25 for both. But, we'll always see NAIA basketball is some of the most competitive basketball you will ever watch. Like for the men, the number 3 team, number 2 team, number 13, obviously number 4, number 20, multiple top ranked teams lost within their first 3 games. It's just so competitive. And that's why we see D1 teams shopping in the NAIA to pull players to be on their roster for the following season.
Nice. Troy Coleman had asked, are you doing a preseason poll or ranking?
I already posted
I don't know if she's doing polls, but are you doing a preseason ranking?
Oh, like my top 5? Those should be dropping soon. I will continue my rankings through the season. I'm pretty sure there's either dropping tonight or tomorrow just for Division I right now, but those should be out. I did do each conference individually, and I did that for D2 as well. But again, preseason is just that, just preseason. But I do have a top 5, Power 5 for the men and the women that should be out tonight, tomorrow, one or the other. But
and
if
all that's on HBCUGameDay.com, correct?
So the rankings are on with HBCU Pass. I know I collab with a lot of people, but my Power 5s are with HBCU Pass. But also they're listed now on College Insider, which is the mid-major platform. So they'll be on there too because we want to get everyone noticing HBCU so the voting panels are aware and voting accurately. That's always the biggest thing, is that they don't pay attention to HBCU teams. So they just don't vote for them. And yes, Morehouse men should be a lot better this year. A lot better, more competitive. If you saw their scrimmage versus Georgia State, they barely lost. And side note, they were missing their top 3 best players, and they barely lost that game.
Where did you get that nugget from?
Oh no! But I am not sure if those players are expected to make their be able to play anytime soon, but they were missing them. So that's a great sign when you can compete with a Division I team, regardless if Georgia State is that good or not. But I really believe if they would have had those other players, they would have beat Georgia State in that exhibition game. But yeah, Morehouse will be a problem in the SIAC this coming season. We're going to see a shakeup. I promise. The SIAC is going to be a shakeup. We're not going to see the dominant play we're used to seeing. There's going to be a lot of competitiveness happening this coming season, especially at the Division II level.
Sly being petty says he was my color commentator for that game.
Hey, hold on. Okay, this is the part of the show where I always love to hear Liv rant about something. So, because Liv keeps it 100. I mean, she doesn't hold back, and that's why she's everywhere, and that's why we love Liv. Now, I know the SIC is going to Drew, a 20-game schedule.
24.
Excuse me. Thank you. I knew I undershot it. 24-game schedule.
Conference schedule.
When you only get to play 28 in a season.
Mm-hmm. And two of those 28 are exempt games. Yeah. So you actually there's 26 regular season plus 2 exempts.
Jesus. All right. So I don't know if what is your biggest beef, your biggest rant? What do you want to see programs in schools, athletic departments, conferences? Drew, you may need to hit your you may need to hide on this. What do you want to see change in the upcoming season for HBCU hoops to get better exposure, Liv? Because this is why I'm going to sit back and watch you go.
So number one, I think that decision is not a good decision for the SIAC, simply because, unfortunately, and this is just me being very realistic, HBCUs playing other HBCUs does nothing when it comes to national attention, right? So when you get the opportunity to go out and create a non-conference schedule where you can schedule teams that are highly respected. I respect all HBCUs. I love our coaches. I love our programs, but it's how other people view ours and why the SIAC isn't only a one bid conference. Okay. This is not going to help. We have to show, and this is across the board, we have to show that we're competitive in non-conference play. And that's why I'm like, oh my gosh, I need us to no blowouts. And I just hate that people talk so bad about the SWAC. And that's why I get on my little jukebox every single time defending them, because one team, and it's actually two, pull down the ranking of the entire conference, and it makes everybody look bad, and why the conference itself is not respected. So, and that's like, obviously those schools have systemic issues of why sometimes their success is hindered. But in my opinion, I'm like, we have to put up a fight. I don't care who we're playing. Getting blown up by 40, those days have to be completely over. Whether it's D1, D2, NAIA, we have to put a competitive product out there in order to build the respect to be a multi-bid conference. And that's exactly what the CIAA did. I think they've done a phenomenal job of building, because they're women too. Their women sent 2 teams to the Division II national tournament last year. And the year before, it could have been 2 as well. We have to earn the respect of everybody else. And is that right? No, but it's the unfortunate truth. So when we're playing these non-conference games, and this is why I hate money games, although we can beat, like in some cases, we saw 2 years ago, especially when Southern beat Mississippi State on the road, men, when Southern women beat Oklahoma on the road, when UAPB, who did they beat? We were seeing upsets like that, but we have to be competitive. So we'll see in the opening day, there's multiple ranked teams, but we have to do a better job of win, lose, or draw. Each team needs to promote their teams better across the board, on Twitter, on Instagram. That's what social media is for. You have to promote your players, promote your brand, get it out there. Games have to be accessible. And I think I've been saying that since I've been LivForHoops, whatever. Games have to be accessible. If people can't watch, no one cares. Like, for example, when Mississippi State their announcers were garnering all that national attention for how fun and active they were during the games. And then Valley put their games behind a paywall after they got all that attention. It stunted the growth of what Valley basketball, the attention that could have been. Now, do we necessarily want all eyes on Valley right now? Probably not. But when we have those opportunities where people are like, oh my, because anyone can go viral now. We need to see. And that's why I'm so against, I'm sorry, I'm going just on tangent, but that's why I'm so against teams not posting from their individual team pages. If I'm a hoops follower, I don't give a rat's tail about golf. No offense. This is just me as a viewer. I don't care about volleyball. I don't care about soccer. I want to see the basketball content. So when you're not posting on your men's specific basketball page, on your women's specific basketball page, and your last post was from August.
August of 2024?
Some of them, to be honest. It looks like you don't care about your program. To be honest, and we have to care about the brand we're putting out, make the information accessible, make the games accessible. And that's why I'm glad, SWAC TV, although it's had some bumps, I've watched multiple games on there when Alabama A&M was playing. It was good quality. I mean, I hate that you can't pause and go back and forth during the live stream, but the games are free and accessible. I'm not having to go and pay for Bulldogs All Access, Jaguar Sports Network, Rattlers Plus. More than half the league last year was behind a paywall. And yes, the teams who don't have your roster posted, what is wrong with you? He said it, and I'll say it. South Carolina State still does not. What are you hiding? No, I promise you, you're laughing. What are you hiding? Why is your website not updated? Why is your roster not updated? Everyone's going to see the film on the first day. You don't have to hide your roster. And that goes across the board. We have to keep up with things. And this is why I beat my chest, because you have to Your roster has to be posted. It should not be the day of the game. This should have been up literally. I'll give people, you can remove people, but the first day of school, roster should have been updated. Okay, SWAC TV with basketball hasn't been. I haven't watched with football, so I won't speak of that. I also think it depends on the schools because they're streaming through SWAC TV. So I think some of the issues are school-based and not necessarily SWAC TV. So I think we have to stop with like SWAC TV is flaky or janky. It's those schools that are putting out janky products.
Exactly. SWAC TV is the vehicle. SWAC TV, it's like YouTube.
It's like Tubi or Netflix or whatever.
It's the vehicle that the production. So if the production is bad, blame the school.
Correct.
Look at the school. That's the issue. Most times, 90% of the time, that's where the issue is, or whoever is broadcasting on behalf of the school.
And so I think we just have to continue, everyone who's using their platforms to elevate the teams, to elevate the players, that all matters. Like when it goes into like mid-major awards, people are looking at that stuff. If we're not advocating for our players, like especially school fan bases, if you have a player who is shining, everyone should be talking about that player, tagging the player. We just have to go above and beyond because we are HBCUs. And is that fair? No, but it is the truth. And yeah, CSU did hire a women's basketball coach late, but that's because they were moving slow. And that's the school's issue. And I've said for the past 10 years, they have not had a winning record. So, and if they really, and all respect to coaches, I think all coaches know it's love, but at some point you have to make a decision to go younger and a player and a coach who can really move the program forward, because there can be a disconnect between an old coach and this new generation. This new generation is not the same type of hoopers we're used to seeing. And
I agree with that.
That's just something we need to be aware of. That's why we're seeing story times on TikTok. And that's why we're seeing like players quitting after 2 weeks. You have to be able to connect with this younger generation. And it's more like a lot of them don't really, they care, but they don't care the way hoopers used to. You know what I'm saying? So I think if sports, the school departments, and again, I know HBCUs have very small teams. A lot of them have volunteers and like one head honcho, but we have to do a better job of keeping up with our media, posting on game days, where to watch, what time. You got to make everything available so people know when to tune in. People shouldn't have to go over and beyond to search for stuff. And by the way, this is my last point, because if I don't say it, I'm going to be mad at myself. Having 12 teams in the SWAC tournament is about the silliest thing I've ever seen. And I'm going to give some reasons why, and then I'll let you guys get back to football. One, some of these, there's going to be teams sitting for 4 days because the banquet is before the tournament starts. So these teams are going to be sitting, if you're a high seed, you're going to be sitting for multiple days, having to find stuff for your team to do. You're going to have to pay money for stuff for your team to do so they're not sitting in the hotel. You have to go and find places to practice, and you're going to be sitting around, waste of money. Second point, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, I love underdogs. I love underdogs when it's like our top HBCUs. I don't believe if we roll a 12 seed into the tournament, they're going to make any noise. And what does that say about like our league? And yes, it's like win out, but it's just a waste. We want to send the best of the best. And yes, people will say, oh, well then win the whole thing. Yeah, that's for like 8 and below. Why are we wasting teams' money sending when they win one conference game? Like, please, it's so silly to me. It's a waste of time. And we really should have kept it at 8. 10 is too much. 12 is too much. Keep it at 8. Roll with that. And yeah, I actually really like the way the SIAC does it, where the top seed gets to host the game. And then it goes to the tourney style of the same location. I think that's phenomenal, because what else is the point of being a top seed? Ooh, you get to wear the home color jerseys. Like, Like, and best believe, I guarantee you after this year, it will go back to the way it was.
I've only got one counterpoint to you, Liv.
Yes.
Men, women. There's only one championship
Mm-hmm.
that's going to be given out in the tournament.
Yeah.
But for the student athletes who go
cares?
to that tournament site, you have 12 different tournament experiences. Only one men and women's team is going to get the NCAA experience because they have earned it. But given those student athletes that tournament experience, because there have been many student athletes under the old format that never got the experience of going to a tournament.
And that really sucks for them. But you know what that shows them? You gotta win. You gotta win. And
you're not buying it, Bryan.
I'm really not, because you just have to win. If you really care about getting that experience that much, and why would I want to go do a whole banquet, lose the first round, and then just like go back? To me, it's like, if it's that important to you, you gotta win. You knew the school you were choosing when you chose it. And I'm gonna be 100. If I'm choosing Valley, it's because, and to be honest, I feel like I don't have to say respectfully, this is definitely the truth. If I'm choosing Valley, it's because it's like either A, my only Division I offer, or it's my only offer, period. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I mean that in very serious on the product they've been putting out. Have they had, players who I thought were like, wow, they're really good? Yes, a lot of them were JUCO players who weren't getting offered elsewhere. But I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in participation trophies. I don't think everyone earns that, because that's not sports. Like, it's just not sports. If you want to get there, win. Like, otherwise you're just, what do they say? If you're not first, then you're last. Like,
I can't disagree with you, Liv.
And now I'm supposed to come counterpoint to my counterpoint.
Drew did all, he did. Drew works for an athletic department now, so see, he's selling now. He has to give that.
I gotta say it, but I will say this, and one thing that sucks about basketball, and Liv could definitely attest to this. When you play college basketball, you get none of the breaks that any other students get.
Yeah.
You don't get fall break because basketball practice is just started during fall break. You don't get Thanksgiving because if you're not playing, you're practicing.
Yep.
You get about 2 days for Christmas.
Legit.
Because it's the middle of the season. And spring break is always during basketball tournament time.
It's always the conference tournaments, yeah.
So
that's why
basketball athletes have it the worst in college.
That's why I said that was the one counter argument I had about sending 12 or sending 4 extra teams, because those 4 extra teams, those kids by that point, they're ready to go on spring break. Exactly. 1, 2, 3 spring break. And now it's like, our season has to last 5 more days.
And that's why I think if they want to go the 12 route, then they have to take a page out of the SIAC's book, and the top team hosts that team at their school site. Making all the teams go to Atlanta is it's not moving me. I didn't even like when they moved it to 10 last year. And I was very vocal about that. So the 12, it just looks like we want to give,
it's about the students. What was the line? It's the student athlete experience. Apparently, some class of student athletes who probably aren't even going to be participating or still eligible this year, when asked, said, "Yeah, we would all love to be in the tournament." So win. That should have been what somebody said.
This is what I say to that. Are we in the business? And yes, we want to make student athletes, happy. I think that relies a lot on their own schools and their own universities and coaches. As a conference, we're here to make money. We're here to build the brand. Sending 12 teams to a conference tournament is not building the brand.
I just hope that those early rounds have there are more fans than staff at those early round games, because sometimes those early round games don't even have mamas and girlfriends
They
or
don't.
boyfriends at those games.
No. So that was my last point, because I've been seeing people have been talking about it. Like they talked about it a lot at the SWAC media days. But I also want to say that Coppin, I don't know if people saw, but they did get hit with the APR, so they do not qualify for postseason play for men's basketball. So their men's tournament will only be 7 teams
in the MEAC this year.
season.
Wow.
And by the way, that was not released by the MEAC, so until they say something, but they definitely got hit with APR. But they're perfect. 8 teams. It's not breaking news when it was already broke online. People just have been in their football world.
All right, Liv. Before I let you go, I need some winners for tomorrow. The first day of college hoops begins. Let's start with just going through some of the women's games. I mentioned in the last break or in the tease that somebody's kicking off their season at 11 a.m. None other than North Carolina Central women going to Chapel Hill, taking on North Carolina at 11 a.m. Yes. Norfolk State's women going to Ole Miss at noon. Jesus. Which really, I guess,
these times he's saying are Eastern for anyone who doesn't live in the Eastern time zone.
Right. So that Ole Miss game is 11 a.m. Central time. Coppin is traveling out west to take on Arizona State. Those are the 3 Monday games in the MEAC. I see Morgan State on Tuesday is taking on University of Virginia. Howard is taking on Providence College. I'm assuming that's Providence of the Big East. I'm assuming.
Yep.
Over in the SWAC women at noon, UAPB traveling to Memphis again at noon. Prairie View on UTEP at 2:00. Alabama State taking on Georgia at 5. Bethune at UCF at 6:00. FAMU at Florida State at 6:00. And Alcorn State hosting Nichols at 7. Southern traveling to Iowa at 7:30. Jackson State's playing Mississippi College University for women. Jesus.
The only one with a cupcake.
Yeah, starting with a cupcake. Good for you, JSU. Smart move. Any winners? Anybody you see that might be able to pull an upset there on the women's side, day 1 or 2, Liv?
I think day 1 is very intense. I will say I'm looking for teams to be competitive. Like I said, I do have Bethune-Cookman versus UCF circled simply because Edward Waters women just played UCF in a real exhibition game and only lost by 11 points. So that's what really perked my ears, that Bethune is going to be competitive in that game, because Edward Waters was too. And shout out to, they have a phenomenal coaching staff down there. So I know they were prepared. Yes, phenomenal. And so they only lost by 11. They had it single digits at the last 2 minutes. I also am intrigued to see how Norfolk State plays at number 12 Ole Miss. I'm not saying it's necessarily going to be a win. I think Norfolk State has some of the best guard play in all of HBCU basketball. They might even be in the conversation for best mid-major. So I'm intrigued. Ole Miss has a lot of size, so I think that's what's going to really beat Norfolk State up. But I'm intrigued. Norfolk State had a lot of success last season under Coach Vickers, and so the expectation is that Coach Woods follows that. And then Alcorn at Nichols. Alcorn versus Nichols, they're hosting. I would hope Alcorn would win that game. Nichols played multiple HBCUs last year, but Alcorn lost their best player in Destiny. She transferred to UNLV, so we will see. And obviously, I'm in Jackson State. I mean, I think it's smart to kick off your season with an easy, real game just to get the juices flowing. But I think, and I'm also intrigued by Southern. Last year, they were competitive until in most games against top programs till the 10-minute mark. They were really rolling. So I'm excited to see how they look this year. And Howard over Providence for sure. Maybe not for sure, but I have that as a super competitive game. Howard's going to be good this year. They're going to be good. So I think that's going to be a really good game. Either way, find a women's game to watch and watch it. You know, the men are the men, but the women for sure make sure you watch a game tomorrow. You have all day.
Yeah, a lot of those games that I mentioned, UAPB is on ESPN Plus, Preview Women's on ESPN Plus, the Alabama State game is on the SEC Network, ESPN Plus for the Bethune-Cookman game, the ACC Network for the FAMU game. Hopefully, SWAC TV will be showing the Alcorn State women. I don't know.
So I wasn't sure about that. I know teams had to put in with the conference to do that. Otherwise, they can just stream on their previous platforms for non-conference. All conference games will be on SWAC TV, but for non-conference, I think they had to like put in for them. But it's a lot of different. If you want to, I'll make my tweets tomorrow of where to watch and all that. I also have the article with HBCU Game Day. And then for the men, because I know people are like, okay, enough basketball. The games that I have circled is Hampton at Milwaukee. Hampton is going to be good this year. They're going to be good this year.
Hampton.
And then obviously Nolan Smith has his home opener versus Fisk, which is a Division II, but you know, we'll see what he has to offer as a head coach of Tennessee State. And then Howard is hosting Mizzou.
Thank you. I was gonna say that's huge. And
my favorite, I said this in my article, so if you didn't read my MEAC article, you wouldn't know. My number one transfer in the MEAC for the men is Cedric Taylor, the third from Morehouse. That man is when I saw him freshman year, I was like, this man is a Division I player. And there's amazing players at every single level. But I was like, this dude can hoop. And now he's there. He brings size. He can score. I know he's been getting more consistent with his shot. So it's scary hours. And I'm really excited that they're hosting them because, you know, that's big. And then lastly, because the pressure is on for this team, and this is what I'll leave everyone with. Bethune has all the pressure in the world to be successful because this team has not played a single game. They're receiving votes in the mid-major top 25. People are picking them to win the conference across, if all these platforms that post like their number one teams who they think are going to win the SWAC, it's all Bethune. Because on paper, they're very talented. They have multiple P4 transfers, players transferring back that have experience, but the pressure is on them to perform. And they're going to number 20 Auburn. And with as many P4 players as they have, I'm super intrigued to see how they compete because the pressure is on them. And obviously Coach Theus can't fire himself because he's the AD. I mean, he could, but
probably have some interesting conversations
with himself in the mirror. Probably the pressure is definitely on them to compete because everyone, like people who have never talked about HBCU basketball before, are talking about it because of Bethune. So the pressure is on them to compete and really do what they're supposed to do. And to be honest, having a season without a championship for them is an extreme letdown based on what they have on paper.
And that game going to Auburn. This is the first game post Bruce Pearl, if I'm not mistaken. Like his son that's taking over the program now.
Yep.
Big spot here, Bethune-Cookman. I'll be looking for a number on that one. Hold on, I was looking on ESPN right now to see if they got a number on that game.
Auburn got enough going on with around football. If they drop this basketball game to an HBCU and somebody who used to live in that area, oh my God, you don't want to be in Lee County.
Yeah, that's 8:00 on the SEC Network. All right, I appreciate that, Liv. Liv gave me a few games to look out for. I'll be looking out for that points. Let's see if I'll be taking Bethune-Cookman, at least maybe in the first half, see if I can grab Bethune-Cookman on that one. Like 5 or 6 HBCUs are taking on top 25 teams tomorrow. So plenty of exciting stuff. Make sure you guys are following at LivForHoops. All of the content, great follow on Twitter and Instagram, Liv, always appreciate you. Live for hoops or die lonely, as I like to say.
Thank you.